The legendary director Kim Ki-Duk passed away yesterday due to complications of COVID-19. We've lost another great man, a fantastic director from South Korea. We are paying him homage and also understanding what his movies are all about and why we fell in love with his movies. The legendary director is no more with us, but then the images that he's given us and the stories will remain with us forever. Rest in peace, Kim Ki-Duk. Now, born on the 20th of December 1960, if he had lived about 9 more days, he would have been 60 years old. He passed away on the 11th of December 2020. Now, what is it that made the man so big? Well, understand one thing, his upbringing and where he came from. In South Korea, it's not easy to become big as a director. So where did it all start? Well, he did his fine arts in France, came back home and decided he's going to make movies. In fact, it was the hand of God who pushed him towards screenwriting. The first movie that he made was called Crocodile. It got huge rave reviews in South Korea, but the world did not know him till the time he came out with a movie called, well, Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring. Now, watching a movie like Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring, and you think about the reviews that have come about his other movies, most of it seems to talk about his sexual violence, the gratification that one gets sexually, the kind of violence that is there in his movies, perversion, so on and so forth. But when you watch a movie like 3 Iron, or even this one that we're talking about right now, Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring, you don't find violence. Instead, you find a bonding between two different characters altogether, a monk and a disciple. If you look at what is there in the movie, animal rights activists have come and said that something has to be done about this movie. They didn't get a review in the States. Why? Because there were graphic scenes, of course, when it came to animal cruelty. For example, a frog being pulled down by the protagonist, a snake being killed, a fish being killed and battered and then cooked and eaten and so on and so forth. But then what was it that really made his movie stand out? It was the storytelling and the fantastic direction. In fact, Kim Ki-Duk realized that eventually he'll have to play a cameo role and come into the movie on his own as the monk that has become, from a child, a monk himself. Now look at movies like 3 Iron and try to figure out what it is that makes the director so great. First of all, understand this, almost 65% of the movie has no dialogues. You have the protagonist going into a home, falling in love with a girl and then trying to figure out where he can crash again. Now, 3 Iron is a fantastic movie that shows as to how the mind of Kim Ki-Duk works. There is no violence in it at all, but there are emotions that come through while the visual expressions of the protagonist itself. What a beautiful story and so well made, a masterpiece to say the least. Now when you look at movies such as The Coast Guard, you think to yourself, my God, the violence here is so graphic. But it's also the true portrayal of what happens on the line of control between South Korea and North Korea. The Coast Guard talks about a man who is going into absolute mental doldrum. The reason being that he's brought up a certain way, he's got his inhibitions, the people are making fun of him, he doesn't know what to do about it. He kills someone and then realizes his inner demons are surfacing and needs to do something about it. So the humane side of a soldier, the violent side of a soldier, and the inner demons coming to the surface, a violent movie. But some people say probably it's a biographical way of Kim Ki-Duk showing what he went through when he was a soldier, because he did a stunt in the army as well. Now looking at movies like Bad Guy, you can understand what people talk about when it comes to violence and sexual gratification. Mobius is a movie that he claims is a prolonged orgasm of different eras. Well, you look at the kind of movies that he's making, you understand the violence there is for you to see. So what is it that really connects us to his movies? One thing, you're not prepared for what you're going to see. And it's so graphic and in your face that sometimes you think to yourself, does South Korea have any kind of laws that can tell you what to show and what not to? You can only show so much, but Kim Ki-Duk goes that step further by showing you graphic imagery of stuff that's really happening in true life. Now, Kim Ki-Duk, when he came to Kerala in 2013, was not prepared for what he was going to see and in fact experience when he came to Trivandrum. In 2013, for the IFFK, that's the Film Festival of Kerala, he came in as a chief guest. He came in thinking probably nobody knew about him. Eventually, when he went and one day went for a walk from his hotel room, people from buses were screaming out to him saying, Kim Ki-Duk, Kim Ki-Duk. He got such a shock of his life. One young man ran up to him. He got such a shock, Kim Ki-Duk, that was taken aback. He didn't know what was going to happen next. What happened next was the young man touched his feet in reverence and said, you are the greatest director I've ever seen. That got tears in the eyes of Kim Ki-Duk. When he came to show his movies. He was not expecting so many people to crowd around him, give him the amount of love that he's going to get. In a sit down that was about directors during the show, a girl ran up on stage and gave him a kiss. Ki-Duk was taken apart. He left Kerala with this huge feeling of overwhelming love that he got from here. He never forgot it, and it changed the way he looked at himself. Being an introvert, he was not expecting this, but when he got it, he stood on stage, and eventually in Nisha Gandhi, he even sang for the crowd. That shows how moved he was by the people of Kerala. The people of Kerala loved Ki-Duk, but now around the world, he's known as a director who's gone too soon. Now, Ki-Duk has gone on to say that he was a man who did not learn filmmaking. That shows as to how much talent Ki-Duk really had. From writing screenplays to going and directing movies that around the world were given so much of love and affection, and people looked up to him to be a director that has a sense of perfection in him. Ki-Duk as a man was very introverted, but then his ideas came to the screen very, very graphically. Known as a man who makes very violent films, it's difficult to watch his film because of the graphic quality and content of what he shows. Yes, it is cruel in one way, but like people would say, including people in Kerala, that watching his movies and you see people making love, it's about two souls coming together, it's not about two bodies coming together. So whenever you're watching a movie of Ki-Duk, let me tell you, it's difficult to really understand as to how much violence really goes into making a viewer cringe. It's not about being cringe-worthy that makes a movie famous or great. It's the man behind the camera and his vision for the big screen. Ki-Duk, again, rest in peace. We've come to the end of this episode of a tribute to Ki-Duk. Again, the love that we have for him will go out in tributes that are already pouring in from all around the world, especially from Kerala. And I would again like to say it was a pleasure having him here and a pleasure watching his movies. He has gone away, his soul has departed, gone to a great place, but his movies and his vision will stay with us forever.